Got one that can see.
In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Understand, it's not necessary for people to believe this information in order to weaken democratic institutions. You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won.
So the whole time I was thinking, how are they having an open casket? Because the way he was taken out was like to the jugular. There was this explosion. It was horrifying, disgusting. And how did you have an open casket after that? And not that I wanted them to show us, but you couldn't see his face. You just saw somebody's hands, and they look, the coloring, they look like fake hands. Like it just looked like a wax figure. It was very, very strange, very awkward. This looked like just an Instagram story. Like they literally were like, look, I'm going to show. So you can see in a reflection in the casket, it looks like this big thing is right behind her, like a big camera, right? And it's like they were just doing an Instagram story or an Instagram post. Like, all right, get your hair and nails and makeup done. We're going to have the camera real tight behind you. Don't get up too fast. I'm going to be right behind you. Hold up the metal. You know, it's like Snapchat or Instagram. Like you can't tell me there's not something off here.
Also, Kelly, we're hearing Charlie Kirk's organization is revealing new details surrounding his death. What are they saying about this?
Yeah, I wanted to get to that. There is a new post out from the executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show, TPUSA spokesperson Andrew Colvett, and he wanted to post this. He said he spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital, and they were talking about the exit wound. So Colvett was saying that there was no exit wound. We are still waiting to confirm this with the hospital, but he said he spoke with a surgeon who worked on Charlie. He said the bullet absolutely should have gone through, but it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. He said, quote, "It was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed." They did find the bullet just beneath the skin, he says, and even in death, he finishes that Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. So that was just posted within the last hour. We wanted to make sure we shared that with you as well, Natasha.
Yeah, appreciate those details. Kelly Meyer live on the ground in Arizona.
People are amazed that there was a job title called Chief of Disguise. And most women I know wish they'd had that job. Sounded like fun. Actually, it was fun. I don't think another intelligence agency in the world devoted the time and the budget to disguise like we did. Disguise became a form of body armor. In the Spy Museum, we call the mask a 5-second mask. They proved invaluable. You could change your ethnicity. You could change your gender. You could change your nationality. And if you needed to, you could actually become another person. When I was chief of disguise, we had already begun using Hollywood stunt double masks. That was a technology that came straight out of LA. We worked with a man named John Chambers, who had done all the makeup for Planet of the Apes.
He has a definite gift for mimicry.
They could spend 5 hours putting on a mask. They could spend an hour taking it off. And they could shoot it again and again and again until they got the lights just right. Our mask had to be perfect in the car. When you got out of the car, you had to know without a mirror that you were good. The point of all of our masks was speed. You had to imagine that you were going to be in situations that you couldn't even anticipate. An officer somewhere picks this thing up, just puts it on. 5 seconds. and knows that it's right, that he's invisible. If you had to sit and tinker with this thing, if you needed a mirror, it wasn't going to be useful to you at all. The masks were full-face latex masks. It allows you to furrow your brow. It allows you to squint your eyes. It allows you to speak. You talked. The specific mask we're talking about would fit just one person. The first thing we do is we make a face impression. If you've been to a dentist and never had a dental impression, it's the same thing. It's just your face, not your teeth. So they would have added to his face. They could rearrange his face a bit and give him a new face that would fit perfectly over his real face. We never used human hair. We always used a synthetic. The idea of a man washing the hair on his mask and making it look nice when that was all done was never going to happen. The synthetic hair, you couldn't hurt it, basically. You could wear your mask in a rainstorm and your hair would still be okay.
Very human.
The masks, more than once, were taken off in a moment of terror and crushed down and put under arms in armpits. They would fit in armpits if they needed to. That was part of the design. The mask is the culmination of a lot of work that we did at CIA over a period of, I'd say, 10 years, developing that technology. It was a big challenge to come up with something that finally actually animated and worked to really fool a person closer than 3-4 feet from you. But we did.
They learned the art.
We actually brought Hollywood back into our labs at one point to look at what we had done, and they were stunned. They're absolutely stunned.
Congratulations.
The fact that we're allowed to show it tells me the CIA had moved on. I don't know what they're doing. I shouldn't know. I'm dying to know, but I don't know.
Relax. You'll get to see it all later on.
So I'm proud to show people how good we got to that point and let them imagine. So what are they doing now?
Mask that fit tight against the chest, fit perfect on the face. They even claim that they design it to that individual. And through the sleight of hand magic show, you know, look over here and don't look at what this guy's doing. You know, the magicians, they can perform, some think, miracles. That would have caused his t-shirt to blow up and come back down as the air is being shot through that, right up through his neck. A little button underneath that mask, that clear mask, and it would look like it blew out. That's why there's only a limited amount of blood to come out. And then he goes down, they carry him off. No blood trail, no nothing. Throw him in the back of an SUV. You don't. The camera pans away as it got him up to the seat so you wouldn't see him stand up. Very easy to do.
In real life, mask technology has advanced so much that those made-up storylines aren't so impossible to imagine anymore. Joining us now with more is Rob Jenkins. He's a psychologist and researcher at the University of York in England. Okay, I know I'm supposed to be talking to Rob, but you look like Walter White.
Yeah, I'm in here somewhere, but, you know, I'm getting too old for this kind of thing.
This is... Look at this. Come on.
Here we go.
I mean, that's just... I'm just floored by how realistic it looked. That's incredible.
Yeah, well, we've kept finding that in live situations, people just accept these masks as real faces. So we've set up a computer-based test to find out just how realistic they are. And the test is very simple. We just show people pairs of photographs. One is always a real face. The other is always a mask. And the task is simply to indicate which one is the mask. Now, if people can tell the difference, they should pick the mask every time, but that's not what we found. In fact, people pick the real face instead of the mask on at least 20% of occasions. So
wow.
this tells us that people are having a really tough time telling the best of these masks from real faces.
Well, these incredibly lifelike masks, and I've got one right here. They're made by in Canada by a Quebec-based company, Real Flesh Masks, and they're designed, as you said, to imitate real human faces, and they really do. They look remarkably real. So what we've got a picture of an actual human face, and here is one of a realistic mask. So, as you said, you did this research, and you asked participants to choose between the masks and the wearing of the faces. I guess, were you surprised by what you discovered?
We were surprised because some people are skeptical and tend to be overconfident, saying, oh, well, I would be able to tell the difference. We don't have to argue about that. We can just run the experiment, and so that's what we've done.
Look, these masks are designed to be used for a variety of reasons. Medical training, movie production. There have got to be some current concerns, some practical concerns about how they could be used outside of those purposes.
Well, we're interested in how people cover their faces to conceal their identity. And if someone robs a bank, say, wearing a balaclava, then police will be fully aware that they don't know what the robber looks like. But if someone robs a bank wearing a mask that passes for human, then they might think they know what the robber looks like, but be very much mistaken. And that can lead the investigation down the wrong path if they're looking for someone of the wrong age or the wrong race or the wrong gender. And that's not just hypothetical. We're aware of about 40 cases worldwide where something like that has happened.
Yeah, Rob, we were just watching some video of someone wearing one of those masks and then removing it. You're absolutely right. That could send police and law enforcement down a completely wrong path if they think that what they're looking at is an actual human face. Rob Jenkins, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, by the way, to Ian Marier, owner of Real Flesh Masks, for the use of his creation. And for more information, you can visit realfleshmasks.com.
The U.S. Agency for Global Media used to be the Broadcasting Board of Governors. However, what it really was discreetly was actually the Department of State, thus a byproduct of the Arab Spring courtesy of none other than Hillary Rodham Clinton. The Smith Modernization Act of 2012, enacted by President Obama, made it legal for them to pay corporate media outlets to publish news anonymously. This news was actually fake, and it was specifically propaganda curated by the government for the United States citizenry to consume as fact. This news, which was never real to begin with, is funded by the United States taxpayers. The President of the United States of America at the time, Barack Obama, made it legal to broadcast completely fake news to the American people. This gave broadcasters the right to run with any story, even though there was no basis in truth. Mass media was given legal cover.
Давай. Нормально было. Тут нормально. Ну, хватит. Новую батарею покупать. Тебе 100 года пашет.
No way!